All right, welcome back, guys. We're going to try and keep this episode kind of on the short side. So we have our special tool here, and this hooks into our anchor pulley, like so. And we're actually going to turn this backwards. Okay. Must have been a little water in the cylinder there. Okay, so we got that hooked into our damper, and now we're going to break the bar. Hopefully it comes off. Yep. Sometimes you got to use a little bit of a cheater bar in these. After this, we're going to pull the timing chain cover off. There's a big 27 millimeter. Put it in there. At this point, we'll pop that out. So we won't need this again until we put it all back together. I think it's 129 foot-pounds, and then you turn it 90 degrees. So you need a tool like that. Or there's other methods, like in the old days, I used to put a socket extension in there. I don't know how I never broke the oil pan, but if you have to, you can put the car in gear, have somebody set in the car with the brake on, and then you can torque that, because it's such a high torque. Even with the car in gear, it'll want to turn the tires over, you know. So of course, you know, the car being up in the air and everything. So you have to use have somebody on the brakes. You could also put a pin in the vanes in the rotor and let it wedge against where the brake caliper mounts. So you could do that. That would also stop it from spinning. You got to do both sides. So let's pop this off. We got our handy dandy puller here, which we should have 3 bolts right here. And these usually come off pretty easy. And just get a few threads in there. Nothing, you don't have to go crazy. Now the end of this, on mine, it's broke off the end in here. So I have to get this started, and then I put a large washer in there to keep it from getting down inside and messing up the threads. There's our washer. Messing up the threads on the crankshaft. So we need a 1/2-inch socket. Just to show you how easy these are. We're going to use an impact blade, but I'll show you how easy these things come off. We use a 1/2-inch ratchet, and put a washer in there, and then our puller goes in the washer. Center it up, get in there. Turn this until this comes up against these bolts. There we go. And oh, wow. And didn't have the bolt in far enough. Try that again. Let's actually tighten those down. Let's tighten those down a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, 13 millimeter. All right. Make sure they're in there. I don't want to pull the threads out of that. Those threads aren't used for anything other than pulling the damper off, but we don't want any drama in the future. So just torque those down a little bit, tighten them down a little. Get it in there. Back this off a little bit more. Some depth in that. So if I was a crafty editor, I'd edit some of that stuff out, but you can see it. That way you can see some of the things that might happen. You know, working on cars is not an exact science, believe me. So whenever you have little setbacks like that, you have to kind of roll with it. It's difficult at times. I've lost my temper a few times, but if you want to stay in this hobby, you gotta learn some patience, and that's pulling off already. It's already coming off, so which is wonderful. There we go. So with that, you can see all the more torque that took. Let's use the impact. Shorten this video a little bit. Whoop. And there's our washer. Nothing crazy. The seal looks good. You can see the time chain in there. So let's, I do always like to put my tools away whenever I'm done. So let's back this out. And that over there. I have like a little kit I made for a damper puller. And of course, I'll take this all the way out of here. It's old brake, box of brake pads come in. If you, whenever you get something like that, whenever you get some brake pads or what have you, hold on to the box. They make nice little boxes for little kits like this. We got all of our different bolts for different motors that we worked on over the years. Once you have the right size bolt here, you keep it in. Whoops. And there we go. You have the right size bolt in there in case you need it. And I have one for like a butane torch kit, and we got the damper puller here. And this just goes in the bottom drawer of the toolbox. There's a few boxes in there. I have a tire grooving tool in there, all kind of different things. So let's get the tongue cover off. We need a 10 millimeter for that. I'm looking for my 10 mil. It's on the bench somewhere. It wasn't the bench. And there it is. All right. So we'll get a look at this. Oh, so many bolts. How are we going to remember which one this is the guide for the throttle cable, I believe. How are we going to remember which one that came out of? Or simple, it leaves a mark right here on the cover. You can hear the bus. Kids getting off school. I think once we pull this housing cover off, we'll inspect it, see if there's anything that jumps out at us. And then that'll be our video. Pull that off. Yep. No marks on the back here. Sometimes you see some chafing on the back here. Really nothing there. Looks like it has an older style tensioner, which I like these tensioners a lot better. I've never had any trouble with these. Had some trouble with the two-piece tensioners, and everything looks pretty good in here. I'm wondering if somebody did a timing chain on this. This isn't not out too far. This plunger is not out very far at all. This chain looks like it was replaced not too long ago. And it's stamped USA on it, and Morse, M-O-R-S-E. So that may be a replacement timing chain. Because I got to tell you, that plunger is not out too far. So somebody maybe was in here and did a timing chain on this. But that's nice. I'm surprised they didn't put a new gasket on here. This is one of the old original gaskets. So I'm not sure why they would reuse the gasket. But I got to tell you, that timing chain, that's that's about like what you would see on a new motor, like a new build. So yeah, looks to be in pretty good shape. I like that. So yeah, you never know what you're gonna find. Can't be positive, but I mean this plunger is not out hardly at all. So that's really good. There's no real bad wear on the gears. Everything looks good. Crank gear looks good. Tensioner looks good. We'll have to pull the guides out and get a good look at those. But we have to get the motor in time before we do anything like that. I'm wondering if we can get it in time now. So I think what we'll do is we'll save that for next episode. We'll show you how to get the motor in time, and then at that point you can start removing everything, and you don't have to worry about piston, the valves colliding with each other or anything. So yeah, this is looking good. Looks like it's going to be a good little motor. We'll see what the internals look like, but so far we're looking pretty good. It's not built up with it's not caked up with a lot of sludge or anything like that. Looks like the oil change intervals are followed. I mean, this is positively clean down here, so yeah, it's looking good. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.